What's up, guys? This is Chris here from Honest Outlaw, and today we're going to be coming at you with something brand new. This is the CMMG Dissent. This is a PDW style pistol that we're going to get into today and do some first shots. I just got this from CMMG, but I have to tell you, I'm a little under the weather today, and I might shoot a little bit less good than I normally do. That being said, we're going to go over this gun anyway. We're going to shoot some rounds out of it anyway, and I'm going to tell you why it's actually pretty unique in the current market that's saturated with AR-15s. Before we do that though, I want to mention, if you like the channel, please go down and like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification button. I also want to mention my page supporters. Thank you guys very much. You support the channel, and if you want to help the channel, that's the best way to do it. Go down to the link in the description and sign up. And finally, there's a link in the description for a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's a YSS. I'd really appreciate it if you go down, click that link, and donate to those kids. Now, the CMMG Dissent is what I would consider a PDW. Not really a rifle. It's certainly in a pistol configuration, but it's so short that it really is only dedicated for a few specific purposes when it comes to CQB or close encounters, and not of the third kind. This has a 6.5-inch barrel and an overall weight of only 4.6 pounds, which is absolutely insane to me, especially considering this one in front of you here is chambered in 5.56. Now, these guns come in 5.56, 300 blackout, or 5.7. I like the 5.56 because I have so much 5.56, and we're going to shoot it today and have a good time. But 300 blackout is probably the most viable caliber for this, considering the overall barrel length. The 6.5-inch barrel length of 5.56, I wonder how that's going to operate, because traditionally that wouldn't give you very much dwell time. It would give you a lot of wear on the parts and things like that. But if you're noticing, this isn't your standard AR-15. As a matter of fact, it has a bug on it. Get away, bug. But it doesn't have a buffer tube system, right? So it allows you to put this folding SP tactical brace that usually goes on like SBX or MPXs and stuff like that. What it actually has here, if I can pull this bad boy out, I gotta do it with a charging handle, is new to me. It actually has a bolt carrier system on it with a dual guide rod system. So this is supposed to work obviously just as well as an AR-15 with a buffer tube. However, it eliminates the need for the buffer tube, so you can then have a folding system, making the system so much shorter. This gun with the 6.5-inch barrel, I think, is only 15 inches long, so it allows you to store this gun in a lot of places that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. This is the first time I've ever taken this apart and put it back together, so seems to work. Dumbass from Iowa like me can do it, you can do it too. The other thing I like about the gun is that since it's so short and compact, it does have a forward charging handle, which is pretty neat. It's non-reciprocating forward charging handle, and that allows you to just have better ergonomics when you're charging the gun. It's way easier to reach here than it is to reach here and smack yourself in the face. So that's pretty cool. I noticed that it does not have a dust cover, which I like dust covers. I know some people go back and forth on that. This one doesn't have one. That's interesting. It also doesn't have a forward assist, which I don't give a fuck about. Some people like, some people don't. I don't really care. It has a 45-degree safety on it, which is nice. I like that a lot. And it's ambi, and it's also streamlined for the left hand, so it doesn't get in your way when you're actually using it. Big extended magazine release button here, and then we have a 2-stage flat trigger, which is really, really, really nice in my personal opinion. About 4.5 pound pull. The brace is very similar to the MPX style. Get my dumb ass. How come I can never make this fucking thing work? Worked in there, but for some reason the SP tactical brace is totally locked. So I have no idea what's happening there. We're gonna do another intermission, and I'm just gonna beat on this with a hammer, I think. All right, so if you pick up on the brace and fold it sideways, you can actually fold it in and out. As you can see there, it is a really small and light package with that thing folded. A lot of times when you have a folding stock or a folding brace, it takes up so much space on the side, it kind of defeats the purpose. Like, I've seen a lot of folders that just don't make any sense. Like, you put a Law tactical folder on an AR-15 and you have a big mag pull stock, the fucking thing sticking out way out there. It doesn't serve much of a purpose for me personally, but this gun really does. I like this a lot. Not only the Law tactical folders on the AR pistols, they add like 4 or 6 ounces to your gun. This is very lightweight, very skeletonized, reminds me a lot of like an AK, and I like this design from SP Tactical a lot. The downside is we did have it get stuck. The good news about that is that I can't see a need where you would need to fold your gun quickly. So it got stuck trying to fold it, not unfold it, and I just tapped it with a hammer a little bit, it came off. That's probably because the damn thing's new, but we'll have to see. Now, I haven't shot this gun yet in any capacity, and I am a little concerned about the 6.5-inch 5.56 barrel, because it's going to be very blasty and very loud. That is one of the things you're going to get with a shorter barrel rifle. You're also going to get a less effective range. So the effective range for terminal ballistics on a 5.56, if you're looking like 11.5, you're talking about 150 yards, somewhere in there. 10.5, 125 to 100. This is probably like a 50 to 100 yard gun ballistically with a 223. Now, I'm not saying if you shot somebody past that they wouldn't notice. They certainly would, but the ideal range for ballistics is somewhere between 50 and 100 yards, and you can tell that they do know that based on how small the profile is. This is obviously a personal defense weapon as opposed to kind of a do-it-all rifle. Now, again, you can get that in 300 Blackout, where 300 Blackout is better in shorter barrels, and then you can also get it in 5.7 as well, which is a very cool caliber, kind of expensive, but very cool, very lightweight, and very low recoil. So either way, we'll take this out, shoot it, see how it does. All right, so we don't have this gun zeroed, but I do want to check functionality. I've never shot a system like this before, so we're going to shoot it with some 55 grain Federal to start off with. That's kind of my mainstay ammo, and then we're going to mess around with a couple of different weights, 62 grain, and then we're going to shoot some frangible up close, hopefully. We'll see. But let's try this out. We don't have it zeroed, but I just want to see if it... The recoil on it's actually not bad, neither is the blast. How do you feel about the blast?
I feel like it's super loud, but I don't feel as much actual blast coming at me.
Right,
like,
it's something like maybe my Mark 18.
Windy.
Right,
it's like there's not a lot of wind coming at me. Well, I mean, there's Iowa wind, but not
right. The boom, the wave.
Right.
I was really worried about that with a 6.5,
but it's very loud.
What?
It's very loud though.
It is very loud. But I expected it to be. You don't have not all the propellants are being burnt on the round when it's coming out of the gun, so you experience a lot more gas and stuff than you normally would.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Are those hitting?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, so far so good. That's a very pleasant to shoot little PDW, to be honest. That's better than I expected. I was really worried.
And it ran the ammo.
What?
And it ran the ammo, so that's good.
It did, yeah, it did. Well, obviously you'd want it to run standard 5.5 or standard 55 grain, because that's what everybody's gonna get out of Walmart. So if it doesn't run that, I'm less interested. But yeah, so far so good.
Okay.
All right, now we're out at 100 yards here, and still haven't zeroed it, but just shoot above the gun, or shoot above the target. That trigger tack 2-stage trigger is almost cheating in a little gun like this. It's actually kind of funny. It reminds me of the Geissele trigger I have in my X-Tar. It's like putting a super custom match trigger in a little PDW. You wouldn't think it would help, but it does, because smaller profile guns, lighter, shorter guns, are generally harder to shoot, so the less trigger weight you have, sometimes the better. Makes you look cooler on YouTube. I'm getting my hand right up in that ejection port, just like I do with the Banshee, because I'm such a big guy and it's such a small gun. Nice.
Are you having fun?
I actually am.
Okay.
I'm out. Reloaded the mag. That's funny. I was like, is there trigger freeze? What's going on?
Just out.
Empty mag.
Okay, go.
Didn't lock back on the frangible, but frangible's lighter.
Okay.
Doesn't like that frangible.
Those things launched at me like nothing I've seen before.
So we were gonna do this test up close. I wanted to do this because it's a PDW test. However, the frangible ammo that I currently have for 5.56 is a little underpowered, so it's not gonna be able to run it effectively out there like that because I don't have any resistance on the gun. And it's kind of hard not to limp wrist a big ass gun like this. And you wouldn't be using frangible for real life situations anyway. So we've got Federal 5.56 in there, and I just wanted to see how the gun kind of operates, picking it up off a table, shooting it without the brace, flipping the brace out, that kind of thing. So let's just play with it. But we're at 50 yards, so we probably won't hit anything. Or we will. That works for me. I don't know about you. But that's 50 yards. Pretty good. You want to try it out or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not accurate, but it was fun.
All right, so first impressions of the Dissent are that I'm sick and I'm tired, but it was still fun to shoot it. So that tells you how much fun it was. We shot a little over 100 rounds, at least 50 rounds of frangible, at least 50 rounds of FMJ, I think like 60, right? I was barely keeping track. We shot it folded, we shot it unfolded. The frangible was a little iffy, and that doesn't surprise me because frangible is traditionally a little underpowered. Frangible, if you're unfamiliar with it, usually polymer tip. Mine is that you can shoot it steel up close and it won't frag you. Also, it won't ruin your targets. With all the full metal jacket we shot through, about 60 rounds or so, it absolutely flawless. Obviously, the frangible was flawless with the brace folded out and me not trying to shoot it like an asshole. But I did want to try to shoot it like that because there's possible situations where you may shoot it like that. And once we did that with the 5.56, or sorry, the 55 grain the 55 grain full metal jacket. My God, I'm all over the place today. But it ran fine. The recoil and the blast was not as much as I thought it was going to be on a 6.5. I don't know if that's due to the dual recoil springs or maybe they just designed this mechanism around the 6-inch barrel, which is certainly possible. The accuracy was actually pretty impressive, easy to hit at 100 yards, very small, very light package. Now that being said, that even though it didn't have a lot of blast, again, that 6.5-inch barrel is a detriment ballistically. So if you're looking for a do-it-all rifle, this is not it. If you're looking for a PDW, something short, light, compact, good within 100 yards, which almost all self-defense situations are anyway. If you're looking for a self-defense carbine that's very short and light, especially if you're smaller statured, this is arguably the best one I've seen so far. Now, time will tell. We're gonna have to do some accuracy tests. I didn't do any, I would like to do a 100-yard accuracy test of this to see what kind of groups are gonna do. We'll do that here in the future. Also, maybe a reliability test of some sort, considering that it has that open ejection port there. I don't know if that's gonna be a detriment or not. I'm not a fucking scientist. But it does have the M-LOK rail, which is nice. Now, a detriment to that, for me personally, is that there is very little space to add accessories. So if I was gonna add one, I'd probably add a Surefire X300 Ultra over here on this side. I wouldn't want it to too much past the barrel because then soot covers up the lens, but I wouldn't want it so close that I was compact either. Another way you could do that is maybe an offset light with a tape switch, which would work pretty well. I just wouldn't want to get anything in the way of that charging handle on the left side there, which is where I usually put my lights, but you can offset it and do it on the other side. I've done that a few times, especially with stuff like side chargers and things like that, or even AKs. It looks cool as fuck. The Cerakote and the fit and finish on the billet receivers are always awesome at CMMG. You guys know that. You've seen the Banshees and stuff like that. Most of the accessories they use, including the trigger and the grip, work great. The M-LOK rail's solid. That is a proprietary rail, although I think you can use regular AR-15 lowers for this. But I like this little hand stop thing here at the end of the rail. That is one thing that actually did like, hey, oh shit, you're getting a little too close, because I do have big old arms. I actually have the same reach as John Jones. So I have quite long arms, and I was still able to use this fairly well. They actually have a polymer, it looks like brass deflector here that I was a little concerned about, but that worked really well as well. Basically, all of my concerns about the gun were immediately evaporated once I started shooting, so it's like the exact opposite of what happened to the Shadow Systems the other day. I was so hyped for that gun, and I thought it was gonna be awesome, that it was total shit. Whereas with this gun, I wasn't super sure, and this turned out to be pretty badass. The charging handle looks like it can be swapped over. It's a direct impingement gun, which I forgot to mention. It's not a piston gun, which just blew me away, because you rarely see these short PDWs that are in DI configuration. But so far, so good. So they are available for pre-order currently, and as I said, CMMG did send me this. It's $2,000, which is expensive for a PDW, don't get me wrong. And that's one of the reasons why I had so many reservations about its performance. But the reality is I was like, you know, I might use this for my truck gun if it's okay. It's actually pretty sweet. And if you are looking for PDW, which I would argue that most people probably are looking for something 100 yards and in for self-defense. If you are a civilian looking for a self-defense weapon, it's likely that's gonna happen within 100 yards. And this kind of dominates that space. I like the PDW folder, and I like the overall ergonomics of the gun, but again, it is a little small for me overall, but again, I'm gigantic, so it's probably gonna fit you just fine. We're gonna do 1,000 rounds for this gun for sure, especially considering it is a new model, it's a new design. And I love stuff like that from an engineering standpoint, but I also, if I'm gonna promote this as a gun people can use, I wanna make sure it's time tested and proven. And I know CMMG does their own tests, but independent tests are extremely important because there is no conflict of interest that way. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot the shit out of this and let you guys know what I think. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.